From this day, this channel is totally dedicated to fashion. So our daily vlog has been moved to another channel. So please do subscribe to that channel, press the bell on this our channel also to be notified of latest videos, and also press the bell on our daily vlog channel. You're highly welcome. So I love you all. Today let's just get back to business. Yeah, basic bodice pattern for a male child,
The measurement statistics that we are using the chest measurement 22, and as such, for you to cut out your chest measurement 22, you just need to add 10 inches to the main circumference of the body. That means that what we are working with is 32 inches instead of cutting at 22, which is the exact. Then the buba length, which happens to be 18, we're just going to add 4 inches to it. So and as such, we are going to have 22 inches as the buba length. By the time we are working on it, it will be reduced to the exact measurement, which is just 18 inches. The total circumference of the body, assuming this is your fabric, all you just need to do, the chest line, which is supposed to be 22, we've added 10 inches to it. That means we are going to work with what? 32 inches. And as such, we are going to measure 32 inches like so. This 32 inches, we are going to try to get some equidistant points. But before we do that, now we need to measure the length of the buba, or the length of the top, which is just 18 inches plus 4. That gives us 22 inches. So with that taken care of, that means we can easily get our equidistant points so that we can cut out perfectly on a straight line. So the next 22-inch line from here, the next 22 inches line, we get another point here. Okay, so from there we can come to the center and measure 22 inches also. And we'll just connect the equidistant point. The next thing is for us to cut out the top circumference. This is as easy as A and B and C. So once you have that, this is the breadth, this is the length of the buba. The next thing for us to do is just to fold into two, so that we can get our front panel and the back panel of our buba top. So once you've gotten that, you cut into two. By so doing, you have separated your front and your back panel. The next thing is for us to what? To fold both of them into two. So this is the front panel and this is the back panel. So once you have the front and the back panel, no need to talk too much. The next thing is for you to understand that the back panel is usually longer than the front panel, and as a result of this, the difference between the front and the back panel for children is between 2.5 inches or 2 3/4, but I'm going to use 2.5 inches in this particular project. So all I just need to do is to measure 2.5 inches from the fourth panel you connect the lines so that we can have a very perfect straight line. And you cut off the 2.5 inches difference, which is usually between the front and the back panel. So with this, you have your front panel lower than the back panel by 2.5 inches. The next thing you should be talking of is what is a neckline cut. For children, because this particular design is made, because this particular pattern is for a 3-year-old baby, and as such, the neckline I'm going to be using, I'm going to come down by 2 inches. The depth is going to be 2 inches, while the breadth is just 1 3/4. So you come here, this is 2 inches, then the breadth is 1 3/4. So you connect the neckline like so. So once you connected the neckline like so, this for the front panel, then the neckline for the back panel. Back panel, you can just come down by 1 inch or by 1 1/4. In this particular one, I'm just going to come down by 1 1/4. But the breadth is going to be the same as the front. So that leaves us with what? Usual 1 3/4. So you just connect the lines. Neckline. The next thing for us to do is to draw our C curve. You can use your curve tool or you can use your C curve. So the next we do, we get the curve for our back panel. Remember, the back panel, the curve for the back panel is not usually as low as the front. So you just come down this way. Okay. So once you have the neckline, the next thing for us to do is to measure out our shoulder. Then from this side, from the measurement that we've already been given, the shoulder is 12 inches. You divide by 2. What you have there is 6 inches. But you are not going to cut. You are not going to cut your your shoulder at that 6 inches. You are going to add half an inch to it to give you room for what? For the allowance, for the joining allowance on the shoulder. So you have 6.5 there. You go to the back, you repeat the same for the back, which is 6.5. Once you've gotten this, the next thing for us to know that the shoulder, human shoulder, is not what? Is not straight. So you come down, you have your slant. The slant for children is just by 3/4. You come down by 3/4 inch. The same applies to the back. You come down by 3/4 inch. So the next thing, you slant your shoulder this way. Once you slanted the shoulder this way, if you measure between the front and the back panel, what it will actually give you is your 2.5 inches. So that means you are correct. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is, since you've gotten your what, you've gotten your back, the next thing we need to calculate is a what, is the armhole. And to arrive at our armhole, you need to know where the calculation of your armhole is starting from. And as such, since we have 2.5 inches here, out of that 2.5 inches, half an inch will be for what, for the joining allowance between these two. Then that means we are left with 2. The 2 you are going to divide into 2 places. 2 inches into 2 will give us 1 inch. So what you just do is, from here you measure your 1 inch from this point. And this is where you have your 1 inch. It is from this 1 inch point that what, that shows the startup point for your what, for your armhole. And as such, the armhole we are working with is armhole 11. 11 divided into 2 will give you 5.5, but you are not going to cut exactly on that 5.5 because by the time you are joining, the armhole is going to be larger than that. So what you just do, you cut on 5 inch. So just locate your 5 inch point for your armhole. Male chest is usually exactly on the what, on the armhole point. So what you will just do is simple. Measure from here to get your straight line. Measure from here to here, and from here to here, just connect your chest point. So by the time you measure from here, what you have is what, 4. What you have is what, 4 and 4.6 inches. What you have here is 4.6 inches. You come here, you mark out your 4.6 inches just to trace out the perfect straight line. So this is your chest point. Now if this is your chest point and this is where your armhole is coming from, then the next thing you need to do is to what? To draw your straight line. Just draw your straight line, which is like so. This is the origin for your armhole, and as such, next thing you need to do is to measure your what's the chest point that we have for this particular customer. The chest measurement for this customer is 22. Divide 22 into 4 places, you have 5.5 inches, which is here. But you know you are not going to cut here. You are going to add allowance for that chest measurement, and by the time you are adding allowance for the chest measurement, you can add like 2 inches. So at the end of the day, what you'll be having is what? Is 7.5 inches, which is here. By the time you have your 7.5 inches here, with that you can curve out your what? Your armhole point. But remember, we added ½ inch to your what? Your shoulder measurement here, and as such, you are going to come out. By the time you are curving out your armhole, you are going to come out by ½ inch, and as such, how do you arrive at that? From this startup point for your armhole to this point, you have 5 inches. All you just need to do is to get the midpoint of your armhole. The midpoint of your armhole is at this point 2.5. So that means at this point 2.5, you measure out your what? Your ½ inch. Once that is taken, the next thing for you is what? You know that by the time you are curving, you are having your C curve this way, it should come to this tangential point of the midpoint, and it should bow out at the back point of this shoulder. So just curve out your what? Curve out your armhole this way. And you bow out this way. So that's how to arrive at your armhole point. Immediately you've gotten to this point, you are almost through. The next thing to consider is what? Your hips line. The hips line for this little boy is 13 inches. And the question is, where are you going to start your what? Your measurement of 13 inches from? You are going to start your 13 inches from that point where the front and the back bends together. And this is the point here. So what you just need to do is come to this point here and measure 13 inches. This is the point. So this is your hips line. Now the question some persons will be asking is that why is it that you are doing this computation and there is nothing like what's it called, tummy? You don't need to get a special measurement for tummy, because the hips line of male, in male fashion, the hips line for male and their chest, their hips, male hips and chest are usually the same. So the difference between the hips line and the what and the tummy for male is just by 1 inch. So all you just need to do from the chest point here, let me quickly mark the hips line here. Since we have this as our hips line here, and this is the chest point, the chest and the hip for male are usually the same. Now, that means that the difference between the tummy and chest for male is just by 1 inch. That means you will go in by 1 inch. So to arrive at the point where you have your tummy, all you just need to do is to measure the chest point, the distance between the chest point and the hips, which is 8, divide into 2. You have what? You have your 4 inches. You have your 4 inches. But usually, I always, by standard, I always deduct half an inch from this. So I'll go with 3.5 inch. That's where you have your what? Your tummy. This is your tummy line. This is your hips line. So that means at this point you are going to come in by 1 inch. By the time you come in by 1 inch, this is where your tummy point is. All you just need to do is to what? Is to connect your chest to your tummy like so, and to connect your tummy to your hips line. Remember, the hips, the chest and the hips are usually the same. That means that your hips line is going to be on 7.5 also. So you just measure 7.5. So this is where you have your 7.5. So you have to curve out like so. Once you have this, this is the point for your what? For your slit. This is the point for your slit. Your slit starts from the hips line. So with that, the next thing for us to just do is to what? To cut out our basic bodice pattern. To cut out our basic bodice pattern. So with this, we've come to the end of our basic bodice pattern, and as you can see, you have what? You have your front and your back panel like so. By the time you open it up, this is what you have for the front panel, and the back panel is here like so. And what happened? The back panel is folded to meet up with the what? With the front panel, and as such you have your perfect basic bodice pattern. And this is the neckline for your baby. With this, the inner wear, the singlet, everything, none of it is showing. So I want to believe that in a few minutes you'll be able to understand what it takes to just cut out your basic bodice pattern for a male child. And if you find this video interesting and you also want to learn more from us, just hit the subscribe button, and please don't forget to hit the like button and share our videos.